On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, see how snow fighters are prepping for winter weather emergencies, get construction updates on 2 new ambulance stations, and see how officers are using virtual reality to train for high-stress policing situations. All this and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Welcome to O'Fallon Matters. A few years ago, residents passed a bond issue to build a new police station, and now that dream has become a reality. We were at O'Fallon's new Justice Center for the grand opening and ribbon cutting. Here are the highlights from that day.
With a strong reputation as a community where residents can truly live, work, and play, O'Fallon, Missouri is the 7th largest city in the state of Missouri and the 2nd largest city in the St. Louis metropolitan area. O'Fallon has been consistently rated as one of America's best places to live and one of America's safest cities. When O'Fallon voters passed Proposition 1 in April of 2015, the city's elected officials and staff immediately began the process of making the dream of a new Justice Center a reality. From the groundbreaking to the final beam being placed, construction progressed rapidly. Then the day arrived when residents, staff, and City of O'Fallon officials came together to celebrate the grand opening of O'Fallon's new state-of-the-art $26.8 million Justice Center.
Today we cut the ribbon on a tremendous project that will help keep our city safe for everyone who lives, works, or visits the great city of O'Fallon. This new Justice Center provides a state-of-the-art home for our police department and our municipal court. And our city and our residents and our businesses will be safer because of it. On behalf of the entire city, I would like to thank you, our voters, who voted to use their own hard-earned tax dollars in support to the men and women of the O'Fallon Police Department. You put your faith in to deliver a facility of the highest quality, being fiscally responsible, and I'm proud to say we did it.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the citizens of O'Fallon, because without you, we would not have this building. Thank you very much.
Once the ceremony concluded, everyone huddled together for the historic ribbon cutting.
1, 2, 3.
Immediately following the ceremony, residents toured the entire facility. Officers were present from all of OPD's specialized sections to provide the public with information and demonstrations on all the features in the new facility.
I'm glad to see that our police force is well prepared and well equipped. That's what I was impressed with too. The equipment was all new or fairly new, and you know, it looked like that they were going to have plenty of room now in this facility to do their jobs well.
Our police department and justice system needed something like this. You know, we've been down over to the old city hall many times. While that's a beautiful facility, it was always overcrowded. So the technology in this building is tremendous. The features that it offers our police officers today are state of the art.
You can tell they put a lot of time and planning into it before spending all the money on it. You can tell really it was based off of functionality, and it's absolutely a beautiful building.
It shows that O'Fallon is a great area and that it's one of the places that I've always loved to live, and I think it's great that we now have a Justice Center that shows how proud of our area that we are.
This leading-edge building was designed to meet the needs of a modern police force while enabling the City of O'Fallon to continue providing the highest level of service to the community. The new 80,000-plus square foot building houses a police station and municipal court. This 3-level structure was built to be secure and to provide outstanding on-site training for officers, more office space, and on-site parking.
It's a need the city's had for a long time. I think if I'd tell the public that when you come across, run into one of the officers doing their normal course of business, just ask them what they think of the building. I think you'll get a bunch of different answers, but I think they're all going to say how impressed they are, how much they appreciate the citizens coming together and passing the bond so we could have this building. It really is designed for the 21st century law enforcement.
You know, we went to the community and stated that we needed this facility. And what they delivered to us was a state-of-the-art building that is going to serve this city for at least 25 or 30 years in the future. And I just can't stop saying how well this building has turned out. And we are very, very grateful to the people for giving it to us.
O'Fallon's new Justice Center is located on Bryan Road, south of Veterans Memorial Parkway. This location provides for more efficient response time throughout the city. And finally, thanks to voters for supporting the City of O'Fallon's vision on this historic building project.
Virtual reality is being used to train law enforcement officers on scenarios they may face in the field, ranging from traffic stops to active shooter situations. Brett FIGUS caught up with our police officers to see how this new training is revolutionizing law enforcement.
Put yourself in a police officer's shoes for a moment. Imagine making a routine traffic stop and realizing you've pulled over a felon with an outstanding warrant for his arrest. Or maybe you're responding to a 911 call and you don't know what's waiting for you on the other side of a closed door. Sounds stressful, doesn't it? Anything can happen in situations like these, and your adrenaline and split-second decision-making can sometimes be the difference between going home in one piece and not going home at all. This is the unfortunate reality of being a police officer. When others are at their worst, our law enforcement officers have to be at their best. But how do you train for the unthinkable? Here in O'Fallon, you do it by entering our new state-of-the-art Virtua 300 training system, a virtual reality experience unlike anything our officers have seen before.
The training system puts you in as close to real-life scenarios as you're going to get without actually doing them.
We can put officers in situations in which we just simply can't do in real life and give them the same level of training.
It opens up around them, you add all the sounds, you add their weapons. It's really close as they can get without actually being out on the real life call.
Here's how Virtua works. 5 projector screens surround the officers with 300 degrees of immersive scenery, allowing officers to train for the most difficult real-world encounters they might face, like active shooters or hostage situations. Currently, Virtua offers 175 unique scenarios, and the library is ever growing. And these scenarios are incredibly convincing.
Your adrenaline goes up, your level of awareness goes up.
Your body starts sweating, your hands get sweaty. It's just like you would on the streets.
There's different scenarios at different times and they change. So you can come into one scenario and it be one way, and then the next time the same scenario plays, it's different.
You have a situation where you could be engaging in a hostile target here, but just in real life, there could be more targets. So after engaging this one, it is fundamental and paramount that the officer check his surroundings and make sure that there's no more threats, you know?
And it really makes you evaluate what is going on and being able to make the split-second decisions.
The unparalleled level of realism extends to the situations themselves, which include branching story paths and complications controlled by an operator.
The instructor sees what's going on, he can change the environment, he can change what's going to go on, he can change the dialogue. If they come in here and they're not giving loud verbal commands or not necessarily doing what we want them to do, we can make the scenario go any way. We can make it very good for them or very bad for them. If an officer is going to make a mistake, I'd rather have him make a mistake in the simulator room where we can correct it than make a mistake out on the streets, because a mistake on the street could cost them their lives.
Even the weapons themselves are realistic, ensuring that our officers are training with the equipment they carry on a daily basis.
We are able to use our weapon systems that we use here at the O'Fallon Police Department. For instance, the officers on the street carry a SIG 229. This is the weapon that they use on the street. So when they come in the simulator, they are firing this weapon. What we do is we put an air kit inside the weapon so it has recoil. So we fill the magazine, this is the SIG magazine, we fill this magazine with air so they get recoil when they actually fire the weapon. So it makes it as realistic as possible.
Besides the pistol, Virtua supports our patrol rifles, tasers, and even our pepper spray. And if officers aren't aware of their surroundings, the computer operator can activate a small device called a threat fire that delivers a shock to simulate an injury to the trainee, adding stress and realism to the scenario.
And what we want from this is we want them to fight through it. We want them to fight through it, not freak out, go down, because it isn't very long. And so far, our responses from this is just that. The police officers are fighting through it. So that makes it realistic, because the bottom line is every day we go out on the streets, it's a possibility we could get shot.
Let's see a scenario in action. Officers are dispatched to a group of kids playing war games. The dispatch also notes that they may have been drinking. When the officers pull up, the kids turn around, and it's up to the officers to realize they're holding orange-tipped airsoft weapons. If the officers use good verbal skills, they can de-escalate the scene. If they don't, they can be surprised, just like in real life.
The operator of the computer is able to change the scenario. So he can make these kids cooperate, he can make them not cooperate. So then it ends with one juvenile in particular. He comes out. He has an airsoft gun in his possession, but if the officer's observing, he can also tell that he has a normal firearm in his pocket. Depending on whether the officer's giving good commands or not, he can make the subject comply, much like he's doing here. Otherwise, if the officer's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's giving bad commands, he's not asking the right questions, the operator can make him become hostile, in which he takes that firearm that's in his pocket and points it at the officer and starts shooting.
The VirTra training system has already proven to be an invaluable tool for our officers.
Hey, Dave, drop the bottle. Taser, taser, taser!
The operator can observe everything the officers are doing in real time, allowing instant correction of mistakes or feedback on better ways to de-escalate bad situations. And it'll grow even more indispensable as we take advantage of another powerful tool to further personalize these scenarios.
One of the other things that's really unique about this system is a version that we call is called VRthor. Now what VRthor is that we are able to go out, take a panoramic photo of our schools, our churches, our businesses, come back with that panoramic photo, put it up on the screens, and then edit and do the things we need to do. And instantly, the officers are training inside of our Fort Zumwalt North High School, the Crossings Church, MasterCard, City Corp, without even going to the business and or school.
No officer wants to find themselves in the situations presented by the VirTra training system. But it's good to know our officers now have a true-to-life way to practice these critical skills.
That's the beauty behind this. We can call them in, they can run through the scenario, and then when they leave, they feel a little bit better about maybe going on that next call out on the street.
It's a very beneficial tool, and it's a tool that I hope one day every agency in the United States has access to.
Every officer in the country is being done a vast disservice by not getting this training.
Our plan and our intent is to, once we get up and rolling, is to share it with other agencies, because it is expensive. But however, you can't put a price on a police officer's life. You just can't.
Snow and ice removal operations continue to be a top priority and core service of our snow response team. Let's see how our snow fighters are training for winter snow emergencies.
The City of O'Fallon's snow removal crews spend all year prepping for severe winter weather events. In fact, our snow fighters plow over 700 lane miles throughout the city. During full-scale operations, each shift can have up to 46 drivers. Being prepared for winter snow plowing starts in the spring and leads all the way up to Snow Fighter Training Day.
We're going through an obstacle course up at T.R. Hughes Ballpark. People are learning how to operate the snow equipment, how to drive the trucks, operate the snow plows, learning how to do some troubleshooting, basic troubleshooting on the spreaders and any problems they might run into with that. Here at the street facility, we're teaching people how to load salt into their trucks and learning about the liquids program that we use to pre-treat the salt and pre-treat our roads with.
Snow fighters are called out to cover 12-hour shifts during large winter weather events. And it's important that each employee understands policy and procedure when it comes to snow plowing.
It helps get guys accustomed to being able to get the plows closer to the curb, avoid cars or avoid mailboxes. it just gives you an idea of where you need to be, and when you're driving these trucks. Some of these trucks are a little bit bigger, and it's a little different having a plow and a spreader in the back of a truck.
During winter weather emergencies, residents can help in the snow removal effort by following a few simple steps. First, move any parked cars off the street out of the way of snowplows and emergency vehicles. And finally, please stay off the roads until they are completely clear.
And if they're shoveling their driveways, shovel their snow off to the side in their yards as opposed to throwing it back in the street, because if we have a street clean and they're throwing it out in the street, then we have to come back through and hit it again, and it takes up time and just slows the process.
Give us time, allow us to do what we got to do. It's not an easy process. It takes time to get through streets.
It's always good to know that the city of O'Fallon and their skilled snow fighters are preparing for the next big winter weather emergency. And remember to stay in touch with the city of O'Fallon for all winter weather updates. If you would like to find out more information on O'Fallon snowplowing procedures, you can go ahead and go to www.ofallon.mo.us.
As the seasons change, we're finishing up infrastructure projects that will make your daily commute that much smoother. Let's check in with the project management team to see what projects are wrapping up this year.
It's been said that better streets make for better cities. And here in O'Fallon, we pride ourselves on holding our city roads to a high standard. With over 700 lane miles within our borders, maintaining and improving our streets is one of our city's biggest projects each year. But this investment in our infrastructure pays back dividends, as our healthy thoroughfares keep our traffic moving and strengthen our economy at the same time. And as the work season comes to a close, here's a quick look at the projects that are now finishing up, starting with our 2017 concrete repair program.
Right now we are actually starting to wrap up the repairs that we've been doing this summer, completed ahead of schedule. Right now we are finishing the last of the pavement repairs. We are fixing a lot of ramps from sidewalks to streets, making that transition and making those ADA compliant. We have some crack sealing left to do. We have some general cleanup, street sweeping, that type of work. But generally we're starting to wrap things up and get this one buttoned up and move on to the 2018 season.
In 2017, our concrete program handled slabs in Fieldstone Farms, Foxhaven, Copperfield, Waterbury Falls, and many more sites throughout the city. But it isn't the only project our crews are currently working on. Another project well underway is the Lake St. Louis Boulevard project, which will add new features to this thoroughfare while moving traffic even more efficiently.
The Lake St. Louis Boulevard project, currently what's been completed out there is a signal that's been installed at the intersection of Lake St. Louis Boulevard and Route N. That signal became functional last week, so currently we're still working on some timing aspects with that, so we're kind of getting it honed in to maximize the traffic flow through that intersection. Along with that, at the same time that was opened up, the Curtis Lane path that everybody mostly had been using to access Route N from the south side, Curtis Lane has been permanently closed, and the contractor is currently removing that existing pavement. Now, at the same time, he's also working on the roundabout that we'll be installing at what will be the future intersection of Lake St. Louis Boulevard Extension and Paul Renaud Boulevard.
We're also busy with the design work for a number of new improvements. Early next year, keep an eye on our city projects by heading to ofallon.mo.us/projects. Once there, you can learn more about our plans for Summers Road and Highway DD, Bramblett Road improvements, Hoff Road reconstruction, and more. And remember, when you see our crews out in our city streets, slow down and give them some space. And in return, they'll keep working to make your daily commute that much easier.
The St. Charles County Ambulance District is in the beginning stages of construction on 2 new ambulance buildings. Joe Meyer is here with an update on the progress.
The city of O'Fallon continues to grow. New subdivisions are sprouting up all over town, along with new businesses. With increased population comes increased demand for the St. Charles County Ambulance District. But O'Fallon residents can rest easy knowing that work is underway on 2 new stations located at the intersections of Highway M&P and Mexico Road in Sondren.
Both of these stations were part of our 10-year capital improvement plan that we announced in 2014 And what they'll be doing is the 2 units that are currently housed at our station on East Terra are going to be divided. One is going to go north up to P and Capri, and the other one will come south of the highway to here at Mexico and Sondran.
This reconfiguration will provide our residents with more coverage, which will reduce response times to 911 calls.
Well, the goal with these infrastructure improvement processes was to really spread the coverage out over a little bit wider area within the city limits of O'Fallon. We've been operating out of that East Terra station for about 3 decades now, and it has served us well, but as the population center of O'Fallon continues to expand out, we need to expand our footprint as well. Having those 2 resources stacked on top of one another right there along the highway was becoming increasingly problematic to get to calls, particularly south of the highway, and we wanted to have a unit south of the highway to give these residents here a little bit shorter response times, and then also that growing area up near M&P needed to have a unit up in that area, but that location there also enables them to come south all the way down to 70 very, very easily via Main Street.
Now that bids have been approved and site work started, construction is moving along at a swift pace.
We are anticipating taking possession of them near the end of 2017 or beginning of 2018. Then we'll need to get in and do some last minute things like radios and things of that nature to make them fully operational, but certainly by middle of first quarter 2018, we'll be fully functional.
Want more information about these new construction projects? You're in luck, because there are several ways that you can keep up with St. Charles County Ambulance District news.
Residents of O'Fallon and other municipalities here of St. Charles County can always find us on our website, www.sccad.com. And we also try and be very active on Facebook and Twitter. We post a lot of postings of the construction process here, and also a lot of day-to-day safety information on our social media networks.
Next in O'Fallon Matters, we'll check in with our stormwater management crew to see what projects are on tap for completion this year and beyond.
In the city of O'Fallon, we managed stormwater in our neighborhoods with thousands of storm drains that lead stormwater through hundreds of miles of sewer pipe. Every now and then, residents run into problems dealing with stormwater. And that's why the city of O'Fallon has a stormwater plan to help deal with erosion and other stormwater issues.
It's a quality of life issue for the residents when they experience flooding, long periods of standing water, when our infrastructure is not working correctly or was not installed due to regulations that were not required years ago. So basically, you're looking at quality of life, but we also need to maintain our infrastructure to make sure that everything is being taken care of the way it should be.
If you are dealing with a unique stormwater problem, go ahead and contact the City of O'Fallon, and they may be able to help you fix the issue.
In order to qualify for the program or qualify for what we call full city funding, there is an evaluation process. A resident will call and make a concern. We will come out and evaluate the concern. If it is determined that it is not a private property responsibility issue or a common ground association issue for your homeowner association, then, and it does qualify per our evaluation process, you're put into a category specifically designed that we have on our stormwater policy. And then you're giving a rating number, and the projects are rated on an objective level from the top to the bottom, with the highest rating obviously being assigned first. And then the project has to wait for funding, and once approved for funding, then we will be able to complete the repair.
O'Fallon stormwater projects are funded through bonds and a half-cent sales tax that was passed by O'Fallon voters in April of 2008.
The current projects are underneath a bond, a stormwater bond, in which all those projects will be funded under that for design and construction. Outside of that, we use our park stormwater sales tax. It is determined by council each year, the percentage that we receive. On average, we receive 23 to 25%. That does fund our entire program, not just stormwater projects. So we do have a few more limited funds with regards to what we complete.
In 2017, the Stormwater Management Division completed several projects within their jurisdiction, and each project took months of planning, engineering, and construction.
This year we completed a large creek bank stabilization project on 5C Forest Court, protecting a home from falling into the creek roughly about 34 feet from top of bank to bottom bank. We've completed 3 Infrastructure installation projects is installing stormwater pipes, area inlets into subdivisions. We've completed a number of designs for next year. We have a couple projects we're getting ready to start up later on this year. Next year we have a total of about 7 projects that we will be looking to construct. We have a stormwater infrastructure project on BRYAN Road, a stormwater infrastructure project on Dorchester Court, a creek bank stabilization on Christie Marie, another creek bank stabilization on DePreau Creek at our pump station.
If you would like more information on this program, you can visit O'Fallon's website, or you can contact the Stormwater Management Coordinator, Michelle Greminger, at 636-379-7632.
Thanks for joining us today. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@OFallon.mo.us. From all of us at the City of O'Fallon, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And please remember to give back to your community, because O'Fallon matters to all of us.